morning. It's Wednesdays. I'm Wayne. Welcome to Wednesdays with Wayne, brought to you by the Real Estate Business School, where you get your license and learn to use it. What does that mean? It means your license guarantees you nothing. It's simply the entry fee you pay to get into real estate. To put it in simple terms, I've been on hundreds of listing presentations and no one has ever asked me the difference between accretion and erosion. The questions like that are on the state exam, so you need to know the answers to these technical questions. So to get your license, you need a technical education, learning a new language, math formulas, contracts. These are all technical topics. It's extremely important to learn this technical information. I don't want to make light of it because it's crucial. The reason I say that is because most of the complaints to the Real Estate Commission and the lawsuits come from contract disputes. Agents don't have a technical education required to fill out the forms properly. And it keeps changing. They're changing again, and they're going to keep changing. So it's important to understand that we need to have a technical education. But I think there's more to it than that. And the reason why I think that is because, as I said, I've been on hundreds of listing presentations. And what my clients typically ask me is, can you market my home? Can you sell it for top dollar? Can you negotiate best price and terms for me? So what the marketplace is saying to me is, I don't care about your technical education. I want you to have a business education. And if you want to get rich in real estate, you've got to have a financial education. So we teach all three. Real estate is a business. If you don't treat it like a business and run it like a business, you're going to be out of business. As 9 out of 10 who get into it figure out every year. The attrition rate is that high. It's north of 80%. So that's why we have the Real Estate Business School, and that's why I say, where you get your license and learn to use it. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a learn to use it part. So before we get into this morning's session, the first thing I want to do is thank you for your time. How many of other things you could be doing right now? May I see your hands? Okay, thank you. How many have consider your time to be valuable? May I see your hands? Okay, thank you. So a friend of mine told me years ago, I'll never forget it. He said, the most important or valuable thing anyone can ever give you is their time. So thank you for your time. I appreciate you showing up. And given my commitment, I'll do my best to make sure your time is well spent. So thank you. What I'm going to go into now is the title of this subject. It is How to Get Rich in Real Estate Without Knowing Anything About Real Estate. And it occurred to me from an experience I had over the past week. I've had three that I've had that made me think about maybe this will be a timely topic and we should discuss this. So I've got a couple stories to tell you. Then I'll go into why I say that. I see people very concerned about their exam scores. No one's ever asked me for my exam score. Why do the bank millions? No, they've never asked me for my report card.
Okay.
So, okay, thank you. So why do I need to know that? Don't. It's simply the entry fee. So there's three types of education we need: technical, business, and financial. And there are 3 steps in real estate from my point of view. Get your license, build your business, invest your profits. So here's the story. Oh boy, this was so funny. I'll start with this. One of the first things we learn in real estate when you get into sales, don't sell the steak. Well, I called this guy and he sold me the steak. So here's what happens, and this is the 2 things I want to convey to you. Please hear me on this, okay? You don't have to know all the minutiae, all the minute details, all that about real estate. There's only 2 things you really need to know, and they have nothing to do with real estate. So here's the first thing that happened. I'm looking for something to buy, so I found this. I'm surprised I haven't been arrested for not having a view lot in Austin, Texas. I think if you live in Austin and you don't have a view lot where you can see the beautiful lake and the hills and the scenery and the views, it's almost criminal. So Lynn and I just sold our last investment property that we bought in 2015, end of 14, very end of 14. And then the market climbed, so we sold it in October, leased it back to November, bought this fixer-upper. Now we're in the process of fixing this up. In the interim, I thought, I'm thinking about my next house, right? So I thought, I'd really love to have a view. So I found this lot. It's been on the market for a few years. It's just sitting there. And so then I watch it, and it expires, and it goes away, and I kind of forget about it, and I get involved, and I thought, okay, I should get back on that lot. So I track the owners down, I find them, I make them an offer that's way below what they were asking. They took it. I wrote them a $5,000 earnest money check and a $1,000 option money check. So in essence, that option, that unimproved property contract became an option contract. So for $1,000, I bought the right, but not the obligation to buy the property at a fixed price at a fixed date in the future. So I got 6-month option period. This was June of last year. So my closing was tentatively set for December 10th. At that time, the MLS was full of view lots. There were many to choose from. So I let the lot go and I moved on to something else. Shortly thereafter, I found this 6-acre tract of land in MLS that had been on the market for quite some time. And it was kind of in the heart of Lakeway, but it was in the ETJ. So the ETJ, as you know, is a parcel of land or a tract that's outside the city limits. An extraterritorial jurisdiction is ETJ. Close by, but not in city limits. Therefore, not subject to city zoning, city rules, city regulations, any of that. It's all in county, which means you can build almost whatever you want. But it is right in the heart of Lakeway. So I started negotiating with the agent. We go back and forth and back and forth. And the story on the property is it's virtually landlocked. It's 3 different properties in this 6 acres. There are two houses on it. There are 3 people, 3 sellers involved. And they're going in and out between these 2 houses in a developed subdivision. There's a little gravel road. They're crossing City of Lakeway property, and it's like 20 feet wide, this little dry gravel. It's a gravel road that they're using to get from their property out into the civilized world. Which is fine for those 3 people, not fine for 22 homes. There's no way we're going to be able to get an access across that easement from Lakeway to get 22 families in and out of there. So it's going to require an easement. So the property is virtually, for all intents and purposes, not technically, but almost landlocked because it needs to have another easement. That easement runs across city property under a Public Utilities Commission. Pedernales Electric Co-op has high power lines running down the other side of the property. So the easement has to go across Lakeway property, across a PDC easement. You got to figure out how to get water to it. You got to how to get wastewater out of it. You got to figure out how to get drainage to it. You got to figure out how to get these easements across city property and PEC property. And you got to figure out how to convince the neighbors that your project is viable and is okay, because they're going to pitch a fit when you start putting houses up their house, because everybody who comes to Austin says, close the gate. They want to be the last one here. Don't let anybody else in. It's getting too crowded. Have you seen the traffic lately? Where are these people coming from? So there's all kinds of opposition and problems. So I work on it for months and months. Finally, the listing expired. We can't agree on price. The sellers are oblivious. The listing agent is not as experienced as I was hoped they would be. So they can't really educate or explain to the customer, to their clients, the sellers, what all's involved and why it takes so long and costs so much and why they've got this retail price on the property. It's really not worth that because it's landlocked, it's got all these issues. But I think there might be an opportunity there. So I work, I'm writing checks, I'm talking to people. I know nothing about how to do this. I've done hundreds of I've been in over 800 real estate transactions. I've never done a development. I've never taken raw land, scraped it, developed it, put in utilities and roads and built houses on it. Never done it. But I'm thinking there might be an opportunity here. It goes on for months, the listing expires, they go away, I keep working on it. I get closer and closer and closer. Meanwhile, it comes up to December. December 10th starts looming. And I think, I got this closing. Should I buy this property or not? So I go into MLS and I do my search, my CMA. I look at what is the condition of the market in terms of view lots, because I haven't looked at it for 5.5 months. Well, guess what happened? Between June and December, all the view lots that I've been looking at, that were my competitors, basically, have sold. They've all been absorbed. They're gone. And I'm looking and looking. I now own the only view lot in LS. Okay, not the only view lot. Let me rephrase that. I paid $215 cash. The next, I'm under contract at $215. It's a 1 acre lot with a 180-degree view. Beautiful, beautiful view. It's an incredible view. I can't wait to put that house on there. It's going to take me a couple of years. It's 45 months to get architectural drawings. It's another 3 to 4 to get it approved, and it's another 8 to 9 months to build it. So there you go. 215 is my sales price. The lots from there start at $500,000, and then it jumps. It jumps immediately to 800,000, and then to $1.2 million. Same lot, same size, same view. So I thought, holy moly, there's a huge demand, and there's no lots out there. So I closed on a lot. The next day I marked it up 110,000, so 3.25. Put in MLS the next day, and within a week sold the lot. First offer comes in, $290. I'm like, what? $290? Look, I get it. I buy stuff too. I come from the point of view, there's no harm in asking. I understand they want to pay less, but hey, look, yeah, I think we need to educate our clients. If you're working with buyers, you got to tell them, if you want it, you got to pay. Right? Those of you who are doing business in Central Texas, you know this, right? I mean, pick up a paper. Read the reports on the Austin Board of Realtors. We have a 0.6 month supply of houses. 6 months is normal. 0.6. We have half a month of inventory. And you would negotiate me south? Come on. So anyway, I don't get emotional. I just go, no. But since they've opened that door, I'll go through it. So I counted at $335. The agent comes out of their skin. The buyer's agent texts me, you have it in MLS at 3.25, and you countered at $335. You're raising your price? I texted her back and I said, well, my understanding that prices are subject to negotiation. There's a difference between value and price, as you well know. I think I'm undervalued right now. I'm starting to have second thoughts about my 3.25 price, because I'm getting 2 and 3 calls a day. So I said, I think it's my understanding that the price is negotiable, and so I'm happy to negotiate with you. It's my understanding I guess your clients think it's worth $290. I actually think I have it undervalued. So yes, my counter is, since you've got financing, send me the loan approval letter. Not the they're approved if everything they told us is true letter. I'm talking about a letter from your lender that tells me they have a loan in place ready to close. Send me that, and then yes, it's $335 is my counter. And then I don't really know what went on that end, but the next thing I know, the broker's calling me. You're raising the price. I said, well, y'all lowered it. So what's good for the goose? I mean, I think I'm undervalued. I think it's 3.25 all day long. I think it's more. I think if this trend continues, by the time they go to closing, February 10th, it's probably going to be 30, 40, maybe 50 more. So, yes, that's what I did. If they'd offered full price, we'd be in a contract right now, and you and I wouldn't be talking. So my point is, when you see an opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, jump on it. So they didn't respond to my offer. Meanwhile, I get a phone call. I get an email. Are you the owner of this lot? Yes. I saw it on Zillow. Okay. I want to buy it. Okay. Do you have a realtor? No. Okay. You need to go get one and call me back. I don't want a realtor. Okay. Sign this disclosure. So I send him disclosure. He sends it back signed. Disclosure says, I've been advised to get a realtor. I've been advised to get an attorney. I've been advised that the seller I'm calling does not represent me, only represent. Everything is in there. He signs it, sends it back. When can we walk the lot? I take him up the hill. We walk the lot. He says, I'll take it. We go to the Grove, write it up. He signs it. He writes me an earnest money check. He writes me an option check. I go home thinking that was pretty easy. And 2 hours later, he calls and says, I want to terminate. Buyers. That's never happened to any of you, right? So he terminates our deal. I said, okay, hey, look. He says, send me a termination. I said, I'll even look. I said, calm down. I'm not going to make you buy this property. You signed a contract. You've got an option period. You can terminate for any reason whatsoever. If you've changed your mind, that's reason enough. I'm not going to hold your feet. I got 10 people in line behind you. It's not a problem, sir. I'm happy to terminate your contract, and I'll mail your checks to you. I'll meet you and hand them back to you. I'll tear them up. What do you want to do? No problem. So he says, tear up the checks, and so I do it, and he's out, and he's gone. No problem. Get an offer from an agent. I get a call from an agent. What's the deal? I said, I'm selling it for 3.25. Somebody made me an offer. I countered. I haven't heard a thing. They came in at low. I raised. They don't have a letter. They say they got a letter. They don't have a letter. Look, it's a really clean deal. It's 3.25. He goes, look, I've been doing this a long time. There's no drama in my deals. I hate that stuff. I'm bringing you a clean offer, and my clients are approved. They have their loan. I'll send you the letter from the lender, blah, blah, blah. I said, okay, fine, Mr. No Drama, send it over. So Mr. No Drama sends it over. He raises the price to $330. Nice clean offer, no contingencies, 7-day option, no problem. So I sign it, I send it back. It calls me 2 hours later. My client's got cold feet. They want to terminate. Like, what happened to that no drama? Even Mr. Drama now. So, what's the deal with these buyers terminating? Anyway, I called the first agent back, emailed the first agent back. I said, the property is back on the market. What do y'all want to do? They counter at 312. So I called the broker. I said, okay, look, I'm going to keep shopping this property because it's 3.25. I just got one for 330, and it got cold feet and walked. If you want it, it's 3.25. So finally they come in at 3.25. Finally. So my point is, when you see an opportunity, jump on it. Meanwhile, this is part one. Part two, back to the 6 acres. Meanwhile, now I've sold it. I made 110 on it without much problem. I'm going to put that with some other money I've got. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go do more research. So I do a CMA on the 6 acres. There's nothing out there. Nothing. So the same thing that happened on that lot happened on the 6 acre tract I'm looking at to put the 22 houses on. Everything around it has been absorbed. There's nothing left. So I called the seller. I said, this is Wayne Morgan. I'm the guy who tried to buy your property last year. Before I call the listing agent, have you go through all that, I just want to ask you, are you still interested in selling? Yes. I said, okay, fine. I'm going to call the listing agent, ask him to come and get the paperwork done on your side. And then when she gets that done, I'm going to ask her to call me. And then I'm going to bring you an offer. I'm going to send you an offer. Okay, that's fine. So I called the agent. I said, okay, hey, it's me again. Hey, Wayne, how you doing? I said, I've been fine. I've been doing some research. Since it expired, I've been working really hard, finishing up all these loose ends. Where's the water? Where's the access? What's it cost? Where's the wastewater go? Where's the drainage go? How do I get across? I met with the city of Lakeway 3 times. I've talked to the Parnas Electric Co-op. I've talked to Water District 17. I've talked to Lakeway Mud. I've talked to civil engineers. I hired one. I wrote him a check. He's done the work. I've got the report. I'm ready to buy it now. But I'm not putting that $60,000 option money. So if you'll go get it listed and call me when you get it done, I'll buy it from you. I'll send you my offer. She says, okay, great idea. Good to hear from you. I'll go get that done and call you back. 2 days go by, I don't hear from her. A week goes by, nothing. 2 weeks, nothing. Nothing. That's a $1.9 million sales price and nothing for 2 weeks. What is wrong with these people? So I called. Did you get the listing signed? Do you have your paperwork together? No, can't quite get with them. I'm thinking about maybe going over there tomorrow. Where's the sense of urgency? None. Finally goes over there. I get done. She calls me back. Okay, I got it listed. Send the offer. Get it signed. I'm finally under contract. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't need to know anything about real estate. I have no idea how to do this development. None. What I see is an opportunity. So I'm looking for opportunities all the time. They're out there in front of all of us, all the time. Here's my next story. I hope I'm not boring you with this stuff. But this is what comes back to, this is how it relates to you and your business. My question is, how are you going to use this to the benefit of yourself and your clients? Because when you take a 3 1/4 property and you offer $290, you're not servicing your client. You're not serving your clients. You're mistreating them. If they want that property, and right now there's none out there, there's very little to choose from. And most of the good stuff, it's not in MLS. And everybody knows that. So all this is going on. I thought, you know what? I could really use a night out. So I'm thinking, yeah, I'm going to take my wife out for a nice evening. About that time, I'm looking at my email. I get an email about this new steakhouse. This is from a guy that made me a loan 2 years ago. Great loan, good terms, easy to close, easy peasy. Easiest $2 million I ever borrowed. Great loan, great terms, great job. I said, hey, I see you opened this steakhouse. He says, yeah. I said, you got good steak? Yeah. He emails me back, yeah, good steak. I said, okay. I'm thinking martini, steak, bottle of red. And below that, this is my email. It's exactly what it says. Can do, ? Send it back to him. So I'm thinking about, God, wouldn't it be great? I'll take my wife out. We'll have a nice evening. We'll get a nice table in this nice restaurant. I get visions of this classic steakhouse, you know, red leather booths, great cocktails, great wine list, great steaks. I'm going to sit there and I want to have a nice cocktail, and I'm going to talk to my wife about what she's been thinking and what she's been doing. And just, you know, because we both work at home and we work. And I just want to go out and reconnect. I've got this whole vision, this movie in my head about this evening I'm going to have with her and how much fun it's going to be. I'm going to sit across the table from her. I want to reconnect with her. I want to have a nice martini. I'm going to take and I hope it's made perfectly the way I want it, which is up dirty, olive shaken. For those of you that make them want to invite me over, it's up dirty, olive shaken. Excuse me. And then I'm thinking about this steak I'm going to have and how thick it's going to be and how it's going to taste, and my mouth is watery. And then I'm thinking about perusing this wine list and picking this beautiful cab that's going to, or Merlot or Zin, whatever I feel like when I get there, and just having this nice evening out. So I send this email, martini, steak, bottle of red, can do. And I'm all excited. I'm really looking forward to getting out of this house I've been confined to and having this experience in this new restaurant. This is the email I get back. Go here to reserve your table. Okay, well, that's less than I was looking for, but whatever, everybody's busy. Probably got a lot on his mind and his plate. I'll just reserve the table. I clicked. Can't reserve the table. It's all wonky and clunky and doesn't work. So I don't reserve the table. I can't reserve the table. I still want to go out. So we went somewhere else. Please hear me on this. That's the story. Okay? Now, what I want to do is make a few points. And then tell you what my point is. Number one, the American consumer is spoiled. That's number one. Number two, capitalism breeds competition. That's the beauty of living in a capitalist society. As soon as there's profit, the greed factor kicks in. And the bigger the niche and the bigger the profit, the faster the competition comes in. So it breeds competition. Competition to us as consumers means more choices. How many choices do you have for steakhouses in Central Texas, Austin, Texas, North Austin? We go macro to micro. North Austin, Lakeway. How many steakhouses? Plenty. So we have more choices. We have really good products and really good services. And the products we buy last a pretty long time. Right? I mean, just come from your own experience. So we get more choices, higher quality, lower prices. That's the great thing about capitalism. It breeds competition. Competition means more choice, higher quality, lower prices. So my point is, you don't have to sell anybody anything. American consumers are consuming at a high rate of speed. If you don't believe me, just drive through the local communities and you'll see all these houses with 2- and 3-car garages, and the cars and the trucks are not in the garages. They're in the driveways. Why? Because the garages are filled with stuff. So, this is the measure of our economy, consumer spending. If your product or service is wanted or needed, you don't have to sell it. People are looking for it. Consumer debt in America is at about 1.5 trillion, according to the reports I've seen. It's at an all-time high. And this is the definition of an economic recovery. So we transitioned from a society that paid cash for everything to a society that charges almost everything. And people charge, and even if they don't have cash, they buy it anyway because they have credit. So please hear me on this. When people buy things they don't need, with money they don't have, to impress people they don't know, the government calls it an economic recovery. You watch on the news, you'll see it. Consumer spending is up. The economy has recovered. It's insane. So this is why, in my opinion, we have to have multiple types of education. Technical, business, and financial. The point is, you don't have to sell it. All you have to do is position it. Just paint the picture. Remember, those of you that are marketing, the mind thinks in pictures. We're not selling houses. Residential real estate has nothing to do with the house. If it did, it'd only be one floor plan. And the reason there are multiple floor plans is because it's not the house they're buying. They call or they list. They want to buy or sell. They say it's the house. You know it's not the house. So what is it? It's not the stake. This is what they don't get that they don't get. Number one rule in real estate, once you get licensed, you've heard it 100 times, don't sell the stake. So the guy that runs the steakhouse is trying to sell me a steak. I don't need a freaking steak. Can I go to H-E-B and get a steak? H-E-B has great steak. Can I cook a steak? Yes, I can cook a steak. Can I make a martini? Yes, I can make a martini. Do I have red wine in the salt? Yes. I've got more than one bottle down there. I've got exactly what I want. I don't have to go out. I'm not going out to eat a piece of meat. Okay? Your buyers, your sellers, it's got nothing to do with that house. Okay. So, which brings me to this. The mind thinks in pictures. There are approximately 171,000, give or take, words in the English language. This is the art from my point of view. The key here is what words do we use and what order do we put them in to answer the question. And the question is the question that all your clients are asking. It's one question, but it's asked 3 different ways. And here's the question. 1 is, what's in it for me? 2 is, why should I give you my money? And 3 is, why should I do business with you? And when you answer that question, they're either going to say, yeah, meh, no, or yes, I'll be there at 6:30. So you paint the picture using words from the English language to explain to your client. This is called a unique bargaining position. You don't have to sell it, ladies and gentlemen. All you got to do is position it and paint the picture. You don't need to know anything about real estate. All you need to know is how to see an opportunity and come from the point of view you want to help people. You want to make them happy. You want to serve. This is why teachers and nurses make the best realtors, because they come from service. How much can I give? How can I serve you? How may I help you? It's about helping people make their dreams come true. It's not about the house. It's not about the steak. It's about the experience. So, I'm just thinking this through, and I thought, what would I have said? So, now we know what not to do. Here's, I think, one way this could have been done. I say to him, martini, steak, bottle of red. Can do. If you had called me and said that to me, if you'd have written me an email and it said that, I would have picked up the phone and called you. Here's what I would have said. I just made some notes and I wrote this down. I pulled it out of my head. This is kind of rough. It could be refined. But I just want to think about the concept and tell me how you feel about the 2 different approaches. One is go to my website and book your table. And the other one is, you know, Wayne, we have an excellent bartender who specializes in martinis. Whether you prefer local vodka, as in Tito's, or Russian Stolignaya, we have those and everything in between. If you prefer gin, we have the best gins available. Whether you like it clean or dirty, stirred or shaken, your martini will be brought to you exactly the way you like it. For the steaks, we have the best prime beef available that will custom cut as you prefer. All our prime steaks are dry aged for 25 days or more for perfect flavor. If you tell me your desired cut, I'll hand select our best one and I'll set it aside for you. Our wine menu is extensive, and whether you're looking for that perfect pairing with a Napa Valley Cab, a French Bordeaux, and an Italian Barolo, we will have the perfect wine to complement the perfect steak. Would you and Mrs. Morgan like a booth along the wall or in the corner? Or do you want a private dining room? Or would you prefer to be out in the middle of all the action? Let me know, and I'll reserve a special table for the two of you. I'm really looking forward to seeing you again. For your special evening out together, will there be a special event like an anniversary or birthday you'll be celebrating? Would be nice to know. May I have a cell phone number for you? If you'll give it to me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to assign Johan, our maitre d', to you, and he'll be making sure that we have your table prepared for you when you arrive at 6:30. So please expect a text message from him. Does this sound acceptable to you? And can we expect you at 6:30? This is the way I would have handled this had I been in the steak business. You paint the picture. Now, based on what I told you earlier about what I was feeling, about my anticipation of this evening, now how do you feel? Yeah, 6:30 would be great. This guy's awesome. And what have we just done? What am I thinking? What am I feeling now? That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm feeling. Focus on this. Forget about this. This equals this. Just wow them. Remember, you don't have to sell it. All you got to do is position it. What words will you use and what order will you put them in to get your clients to say yes? What is your unique marketing position? What will elevate, separate, differentiate, and distinguish you from all your competitors, position you as the obvious choice, and get your clients to say yes? So you don't have to know anything about real estate to get rich in real estate. All you have to know is these two things. Number one, look for this. Opportunities are everywhere. They look like problems. You want to get rich? Solve someone a problem. Your product or service solves their problem. Your unique marketing position is a solution to their problem. Your product or service, solution to their problem. Look at the things around the house that you bought. They solve a problem that you had. So first is opportunity. Look for these. And then find out, how can you help people? And the more people you help, the more valuable you become. So I'll end with this. Please remember, it's not about the steak. What do we say in real estate? Don't sell the steak. Sell the sizzle. Don't sell the house. Sell the experience. It's not about your product. It's not about your service. It's not about how great you are or all the things you do. It's about them. It's about their experience while they consume the product or service. So what experience? What's the experience they're having? Don't sell the steak, sell the sizzle. You don't have to know anything about real estate to get rich in real estate. I have no idea how to develop these 6 acres. All I know is the questions are more valuable and more important than the answers. And all I have to know is, who do I ask? The more powerful the question, the clearer the question, the better the answer, the better the result. You don't have to know the answer. All you gotta know is the question. So that's it for today. That's it for this week. Thank you for being at Wednesdays with Wayne. It's Wednesday. I'm Wayne. This session was brought to you by the Real Estate Business School, where you get your license and learn to use it. This is part of the learn to use it part. Look for opportunities and go find someone to help. Let's go out and make it a better world. I'll see you next week, 9 a.m. Wednesdays with Wayne, Real Estate Business School. BuildMyREBusiness.com, where you get your license and learn how to use it. See you next week. Thank you.